Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying your Ramadan because Eid is just around the corner. And for today, what I have created is this look right here. This is a very glam, neutral, lightweight kind of makeup for your first, second, third day of Eid. This look is very Eid morning friendly, so you guys can wear this in the morning. You don't have to feel like your face is blocked or cakey or too heavy. This is a very lightweight kind of makeup. And it's very natural too. I feel like it does kind of show a little bit of my flaws, but that's okay because you know, you don't want to be dealing with a lot of heavy makeup early in the morning with the sun beating you in the face and showing everything. It's just going to make it look worse if you do try to cover it up. So I'm kind of flaunting out my skin, making it look all natural, making it look all pretty and fabulous, but with a nice soft smoky eye. So I feel like this makeup look is very, very pretty, very perfect for your Eid mornings. And yeah, I'm loving it. I really like it. It's very neutral. If you guys want to add a pop of color, you can. If you guys want to tone it down and not apply so much darkness and smokiness to the eyes, you can. So I feel like this look can be played around with a lot. And I try to make it as suitable for your Eid mornings as possible, but also giving you that kick of glam, you know? So if you guys want to know how to create this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, you guys, so I have my trusty headband on, and for the sake of this video not being an hour long, I decided to do my brows off camera so you guys wouldn't have to watch that for the next half an hour. So the first thing I'm gonna do is prime my eyes with some concealer. Now you can use any concealer that you have around that matches your face. I'm going to be using the same concealer I'm going to be using underneath my eyes, which is the Becca Aqua Luminous Concealer in the shade Medium, and I'm just going to apply that to my eyelids, just all over. And then I'm grabbing a buffing brush and I'm just going to buff out that concealer just so we have a nice, equal, consistent one color base for our eyeshadows to lay on top of. And then to make sure that the concealer on top of your eyes does not crease, you want to use a pressed powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury one. I'm just going to apply that all over the eye so that it sets the concealer in place and doesn't make it crease around. Alright, so we have our eyes primed and ready to go with eyeshadow. The eyeshadow palette that I'm using today is the Tartiest Pro palette from Tarte. I haven't used this in a while, so I really wanted to, you know, play around with this eyeshadow palette, and I wanted to go for something that has a lot of neutral colors. And the shade that I'm going to be using for my crease is this shade right here, which is called Bold. And I'm just going to grab that with a blending brush, which is the Morphe M518 brush. And I'm just going to apply that shade evenly and generously into my crease and making sure I blend it out as much as I can. Now don't worry about it having a lot of fallout in this area because we are going to clean that out once we start doing our face. So that's okay if you mess up and you overblend over this line. That's okay, that's fine. I do it all the time, so it's not a big deal. We can fix it. And now I'm going to grab the shade Edgy right here with the same blending brush, and I'm going to focus it right in the outer part of the eye, the outer corners, and wing it out just a little bit, not bringing that dark shade in. I'm just keeping it to the outer part of the eye. And me having it on the lid is totally fine. We do want some of that shade to be on the lid. Then we are grabbing one more shade, which is the smoked shade right here in the palette. It's the darkest brown they have in this palette, so you want to take a smaller blending brush so that you have a lot more control on where you're blending that shade, because you don't want it to be too dark all over the eye and mess up that crease shade that we were playing around with in that gradient. And I'm just going to focus this shade right in this little corner, as close to the crease as possible. I am not bringing it out, I am not winging it out, I'm just keeping it in this little corner right here and bringing it a little bit onto the lid. Just circular motions, you guys. Keep it minimal. Oh, and by the way, this is the Morphe M514 brush, if you guys wanted to know. Okay, then we are taking this shade right here. This is like a shimmery shade, which is called Glam, and I'm taking that with my finger. I love to take shimmers with my fingers because I feel like the friction on my finger picks up a lot more pigment and lays it down so nicely on the lid and the eyes. So I'm just gonna apply that straight to my lid and basically blending it into that dark shade that we had on the outer part of the lid as well. So we have our crease, we have our lid. Now what we want to do is we do want to jump into the lower lash line and the waterline, and I'm going to be grabbing the shade Bold again, and I'm just going to line that underneath my eye. And then we're taking the shade Edgy, and I'm going to focus that closer towards the lash line and not blend it out as much as the Bold shade. By the way, this is the e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. It's a pretty good drugstore brush. I love this. Okay, so we are done with eyes, you guys. Now for face. I wanted to do something a little bit more lightweight because the Eid morning, you're going out in the sun, and then you're gonna be visiting a lot of people, a lot of family and friends, and you're gonna be eating, probably doing lunch. So it's a pretty long process. It's a pretty long day. It has a lot of things that you're gonna do. You're gonna be out in the sun a lot. You're probably gonna be sweaty a lot. So I wanted to do something a little bit more lightweight for my skin. I don't want my skin to be looking cakey, especially in the sunlight. So I am going to grab the Charlotte Tilbury LightWonder foundation. And this is basically a youth boosting perfect skin foundation with SPF 15. SPF is very important to you guys if you're going out in the morning, so you gotta put it on. Okay, so I'm just applying some foundation to the back of my hand, applying it everywhere, all over my face, just dotting it everywhere. This is probably the most lightweight foundation. And then I'm just gonna blend this out with a Morphe Y6 brush. This is probably one of my most favorite foundations because it's so lightweight and it gives you enough color, but it doesn't like give you too much pigment. It's like a light to medium coverage kind of foundation, and I love it. I really do. And it gives you such beautiful dewiness to your skin. And I feel like that's perfect for Eid morning, so I feel like it's a great foundation for this kind of occasion. Now, because I do have a little bit of darkness around my mouth and underneath my eyes, I do want to color correct. Now, I want to show you a trick on how you can color correct on the go very easy, and that is by using a concealer that is a little bit of an orange undertone, and it matches almost your skin, but it's a little bit like 1 or 2 shades darker than you. And this is the NARS Creamy Concealer in the shade Biscuit. I usually use Macadamia for my under eyes, so this is about 2 shades darker than me. I'm just gonna grab that with the same wand, and I'm just gonna apply it to areas where I have a little bit of darkness. And that orange tone will very much cancel out any darkness I have and make my skin look very, very even. And then I like to blend this out with a beauty blender. So I'm just gonna blend that out real quick. And you guys can see how much the darkness around my mouth has almost disappeared. It's not the best kind of color correcting, but it is very quick and very easy to do, and it does make a difference. It does. And one more thing, you don't want to completely blend it out. You want to make sure that the product stays in place and doesn't move around all over your face. You just want to dab it into the area that you just applied it to. Now, moving on to concealer, I am going to grab the same Becca Aqua Luminous concealer that I was using to prime my eyes. And I'm going to grab that concealer and apply that to my under eyes. I love this concealer because it's so not heavy on the eyes and the under eyes. I feel like it's very lightweight. You really do feel like it's like water. It's not a heavy concealer, and that's why I picked this for today's tutorial, because I feel, like I said, the Eid makeup has to kind of look a little bit more lighter in terms of skin. I feel like your skin has to breathe during that day because you're always out in the sun and all that stuff, and I use this on a daily basis, honestly. I'm just gonna apply a line down the nose, grabbing my beauty blender and just making sure I blend out from the outside to the inside. And I'm not gonna go right where my lash line is. I'm gonna leave a space because we did apply some eyeshadow there, if you guys remember. So I don't wanna put any concealer on top of that. I'm just gonna stay as far away as possible from the lower lash line. And this is the time where if you feel like you overdid the eyeshadow in this area, you can grab that same beauty blender with some concealer on and just line up your eyeshadow. Just like that. Do you see that? To the forehead and nose, cupid's bow and chin. Now real quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some pressed powder. This is the same Charlotte Tilbury one. This is in number 2, and I'm going to apply that to my under eyes so that it sets the concealer in place. And you only want to do this to the areas that you feel are going to get oily, and your under eyes as well, just nowhere else, because you do want to keep that youthful dewiness look to your skin. Now to give some structure back to the face, I'm going to grab my butter bronzer in the original shade, and I'm going to take the Dose of Colors angled contour brush, and I'm going to slightly contour my face, but it's not really such an intense contour. I'm just, you know, giving back some dimension to the face. So I'm just going to apply that right here into the hollows of my cheeks in a patting motion. Some situation control on the forehead, making it smaller because it's so massive. Okay, I think we're good. Now we just applied contour, and now I want to go into highlights, and I'm using the Hyper Real Glow by M.A.C, and I'm grabbing this shade right here, which is called Gold Coasting. I'm taking that with a fan brush. Ooh, this is so pretty. So pretty. You don't want something that's too glittery. You want something that gives you a nice sheen for the morning. You just want to keep it nice and simple and light. I don't know what's happening in the back there, but we gotta fix it in a moment. And then I'm gonna apply some to my nose, the bridge of the nose, and then the tip of the nose. Because I totally forgot to contour my nose, I'm going to go back into the butter bronzer, and I'm going to take a small eyeshadow brush, dig into that bronzer, and contour the nose very, very lightly, just at the bottom here. This is basically how I contour my nose every single day. If I don't have time, this is what I do. To bring some more color into our face, I'm taking the Milani Luminoso blush, and I'm taking this with a Morphe M435 brush. I'm just gonna apply some blush to my cheeks, and I gotta smile every time I do this. And sometimes when it's the morning, I like to add some blush on the bridge of the nose because it gives you a sun-kissed kind of feel. Now, before I want to move on to lashes, I'm going to line my upper lash line with the Maybelline Master Drama Kohl liner, or Kohl liner. Kohl liner. I'm just gonna line the front of my lash line like that, just like that, just so that when I put on my lashes, I have a black base here for them to blend into. And for lashes, I'm taking the VelvetGlam lashes in M15. I love, love, love these lashes. I'm going to show you them. So when you look for lashes and you want them to be very, very light on your eyes, but also give you that cat eye look without any liner, you want something that kind of gives you short lashes in the front, long lashes in the back. The hairs are pretty much separated. They're not so clumped up together. They're very separated, very wispy. And the fact that they come short in the front makes them blend into your natural lashes even more, and then longer in the back, this gives you the cat eye kind of look to your eye. So I really, really like these lashes. You don't necessarily have to have these ones, but you can look for something that is similar to these ones. So I'm just gonna pop out, apply these lashes, and then come back and we're gonna do lips. Okay guys, I'm back and I just finished applying my lashes. What I did forget to do before we do lips is I wanted to highlight my inner corners, and I totally forgot, so I'm taking my same M.A.C Hyper Real Glow palette. I'm taking the same shade I was using for highlight, and I'm just gonna apply that real quick into the inner corners of the eye and make the eyes really pop. You do want to do that step because in the morning of Eid, you basically want to look awake, because the day before you were already fasting and you were already staying up late probably, so you want to look more awake than you already look tired. This kind of opens up your eyes, makes them look wide, wide, wide awake. Now we move on to lips. So for lips, I'm taking the M.A.C Oak Lip Liner, and then I'm going to apply the Anastasia Beverly Hills Staunch lipstick. I think that's what it's called, Staunch? Let me Google that, hold on.
Staunch. Staunch.
Okay, so I was right. So I guess that's what it's called. I'm just gonna apply this and overline my lips. I'm going to fast forward this process because you guys know how this goes. So I've lined my lips and I'm gonna take the lipstick from Anastasia in Staunch. I'm just gonna pat that into my lips so that it doesn't look too cakey and too heavy. I want it to look as natural as possible because this is a matte lipstick. Alright you guys, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys like this look. I feel like it's very glam for what I usually do for Eid. Usually for Eid, I just put on the littlest, most tiniest amount of makeup and leave the house because I just do not have the nerve to deal with makeup on the day of Eid in the morning, wake up 2-3 hours before the time when I have to leave the house. So it's just not a thing for me. As much as I love makeup, I do not want to deal with it or do something wrong on the day of Eid, but I feel like this look is very, very universal. I feel like it's very neutral. I feel like it's very easy to do. If you do want to go for a glam look, you can tone it up, you can tone it down if you want to, with a couple of different steps if you do want to do that. So I feel like this look is pretty much going to work for everyone, don't you think? So that is it you guys. Please give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! And I'm gonna grab the shade, okay, but with a very light base of face base. Right you guys, so, is it on? Yeah, it is.